This pre-constructed deck has done something that I didn't think was possible. Wizards of the Coast has made a commander deck that is the perfect onboarding tool for a new player. With the way that the Fantastic Four has been designed, whichever hero you choose to lead your deck, the deck will just work. Being rewarded for casting non-creature spells is an incredibly easy ask for a new player. It makes the upgrade path of the deck so open-ended that you can open a pack from any set, throw whatever the shiniest piece of cardboard is into your deck, and it will work. And if you're an enfranchised player, this is the perfect onboarding tool to have in your collection when the one friend who never played Magic before eventually says he'll try the game that you never seem to shut up about. In this video, we're going to take a deep dive into what makes this deck so unique and the best deck for a new player. If the Marvel sets have inspired you to build your own superhero-like physique, my day job is as a personal trainer and a fitness coach. If you've been putting off going to the gym or building a workout routine, in the description I have a free beginner strength and fat loss guide if you've been looking for some help getting started. So what makes this deck so new player friendly? In case you're brand new to Magic the Gathering, a Precon is a pre-constructed deck made by Wizards of the Coast. It is an out-of-the-box, ready-to-play, fully constructed deck for you to purchase, sit down with your buddies, and play. You choose one member of the Fantastic Four to lead your deck from outside the game, and the rest can be inside the deck, ready to be drawn and played. Each member of the Fantastic Four reads, at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you've cast a non-creature spell this turn, do a thing. A large portion of every deck is comprised of non-creature spells. As the name implies, they're any card in your deck that doesn't have power or toughness and is not a land. Many other heroes in the deck also say this line, which means the more heroes that you get out, the more value you create just by playing your game plan. If you're an enfranchised player, this deck is the perfect deck to have on hand when someone wants to come to a game night. I find that the most difficult parts of Commander is not the difficulty of understanding your own deck, but the challenge that's presented when you have 3 other decks in front of you that are all doing their own unique thing. This deck is easy to play and understand, allowing a new player to gain the value easily and focus on cards on the rest of the table instead of worrying about piecing their own puzzle together. Let's say instead of a new player joining the pod, the rest of your group wants to play lower powered decks. This deck, when played by an experienced player, can really shine in how much value it can produce. Being that it's a pre-constructed deck, the capped power level keeps you in check. It's kind of like playing golf with a handicap. You can still play your best without feeling like you're dominating the whole table. We've established that the difficulty to learn and play are low, and your value output can be through the roof. But what separates this deck from the majority of pre-constructed decks out there? If you're an experienced player like I am, then you probably know the predictable life cycle of a Precon. It starts with a new, eager player, full of life and excitement, going out to buy their pre-constructed deck, hopefully at or below MSRP. They upgrade it with various singles or cards opened from packs, and over time, the newness starts to wear off. They get bored with it, they build a new deck, and after a couple of months, they then scrap the old deck for parts. How does this deck change that? Most pre-constructed decks are built with 2 legendary creatures that match the deck's color identity. The Face Commander is the headliner that the deck is mostly built around. These decks also have a backup commander, also in the deck's color identity, that has parts of the deck built for this secondary commander. Both commanders can be used to helm the deck, but since they do different things, one half of the deck doesn't work with one commander, and the other half doesn't work with the other. This splits the deck into 2 different paths where neither one can shine in its own right. The Fantastic Four changes this in a really unique way. Each one of the Fantastic Four members, despite being different colors, can be the sole leader of your deck out of the box. That is because this activated ability in the text box means despite each card being one color, each of them has a color identity of the 4 colors of the deck. This means any one of these characters can be your commander at any one time. Where other pre-constructed decks struggle with the deck not being built towards the commander, as we discussed earlier, every Fantastic Four member requires the same input to trigger their effect. No matter which of them you choose, your deck will just work. No ifs, ands, ors, or buts about it. To me, this is the strongest selling point of the pre-constructed deck. The replayability of the deck adds longevity that we've only seen a couple times before. You can choose a new member of the Fantastic Four to lead your deck based on how much value you want to create, how aggressive your opponents are, how aggressive you need to be, or if you're just bored and you want to spice things up. You don't even need to swap out any cards between games to get a brand new experience. Just take one member of the deck, swap it with who's in the command zone, and you have a brand new experience in less time than it takes to swap decks. So if it doesn't matter who you have in a command zone, what does the rest of the deck look like? One member of the Fantastic Four is in the command zone that you always have access to whenever you need them. The rest of the members are floating around somewhere in the 99 other cards of your deck. Not only are the Fantastic Four in this deck, but there are many other heroes built into this deck that trigger off casting a non-creature spell too. It's not unlikely to have 4 of these creatures out by the mid-game that are each giving you value off of doing the thing you were already going to do with your commander. This means you cast one spell and you get 4 triggers. This kind of redundancy often goes unnoticed by new players, but experienced players know the value that can be gained from this. Let's say that you have 4 heroes that trigger when a non-creature spell is cast. If someone targets and removes your commander, you still have 3 other heroes that are triggering off the same effect. This is super important for a new player, as when they learn that Magic is a game of interaction, they're not punished as hard as they could be because of the rest of the deck covers for the commander. Many Magic decks, even many Magic decks built by experienced players, have a tendency to crumble when their commander gets hit with a removal spell. Since this deck isn't purely reliant on the commander, you can keep your game plan rolling even when faced with interaction. Less reliance on the commander adds a layer of resilience to the deck, allowing you to always be doing something and enjoying the game longer. Eventually, you may get tired of seeing the same cards over and over again, but that's an easy fix. The upgrade path for this deck is simple, but also so open-ended. To upgrade this deck, all you need is a non-creature spell in your commander's color identity. To put that in perspective, if you were to go and buy a sealed pack of Magic Gathering from any set, you could make swaps to your deck with roughly 50% of the cards that you opened from the pack. Most decks wouldn't be able to play any of the cards that they opened from that booster pack. It could be an instant, sorcery, artifact, enchantment, even a battle if you open one. If you open one, throw it in your deck and it will trigger all of your heroes. You could open a booster pack, or there are some cards that you could buy individually that would increase the variety and the power level of the deck. If we want to keep it in a Marvel theme, Thor, God of Thunder, has a triggered ability that will trigger off each non-creature spell that you cast. Stepping away from Marvel though, we have some cool ones like Dragon Rage Channeler that gives you card selection as you cast your non-creature spells. Artist's Talent can also help you move through your deck and eventually act as a win con. And Bothersome Closet can help you control the board. Ah, look bud, there's a kitty on that card. One day you'll be on a card. Yeah, one day you'll be on a card. Looking into some non-creature spell upgrades, non-creature clone effects like Irenicus's Vile Duplication, Multiversal Recruitment, and Ember Island Production give you your non-creature cast requirements, along with copying a hero to give you another trigger when you move to combat. Nanogene Conversion will allow all of your creatures to become the hero on your board that has the strongest non-creature trigger and get that effect for as many heroes as you control. If we float back to Marvel for a moment, Hulkling, Young Avenger, also becomes a copy of one of your heroes when you cast a non-creature spell. Cards like Ephemerate, Distortion Strike, and Faithless Salvaging allow you to trigger your non-creature requirements. On your next turn, you can reuse the same spell for its rebound effect, giving you a way to trigger your heroes for free on the next turn. An honorary mention goes to Frantic Search and other spells that refund their mana for giving you a free non-creature cast. Wizards of the Coast is doing something really cool here. 4 individual commanders that can helm the deck without having to change the internal parts of it adds longevity and replayability. On top of that, the mechanics are easy to figure out, and it has the ability to keep its thing going even when the table pushes back. This deck is doing so many things that helps the onboarding experience of a new player, and aspects that enfranchised players should probably take back to their own decks. This is my favorite Precon deck of the year so far, and will have a forever home on my bookshelf for the right occasion. I don't even mention that if you're a Marvel fan, all the cards are Marvel themed art. This deck is a home run for new players, enfranchised players, and Marvel fans alike. This is the kind of Precon that I want to see more of. If you're new to Magic, this is one of the best Precons that you could pick up to see what Commander's about. And if you've been playing for years like me, Don't sleep on this one just because it's a precon. Let me know in the comments which of the Fantastic Four you'd have lead your deck first. And hey, if building a Marvel hero physique is on your list of things to build, grab that free strength and fat loss guide in the link below. If you like this video, YouTube thinks you'll like this video right here. Go ahead and give it a watch. I'll see you later.